I think we're going to get going, guys. I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to the December 22nd, 2025 City Council meeting. I hereby call the meeting to order. Members of the public may attend the City Council meeting in person or may listen remotely by reviewing the meeting on Channel 8, WCTV, and the city's website at Wayzata.org. Public comments during the public forum or public hearing portions of the meeting may be provided in person, at the meeting, in advance, or by logging on to the Teams call and raising your hand during the public hearing. When your name is called in the meeting, you will be seen and heard in our council chambers and the cable channel. You'll be asked to unmute, turn your camera on, and then you may begin your comments. All public comments must include your name and who you represent. The next item on the agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance. If I could ask you to stand if you are able. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next on our agenda is our roll call. Let the record reflect that all council members are present tonight. I will also note that earlier this evening, the council participated with staff in a workshop and discussed the following items. We conducted interviews for our open seats for boards and commission vacancies. We had a discussion about road closure, specifically the 600 block of Lake Street for pedestrian activities and events, and then referenced discussion of future council topics for workshop. The next item on our agenda is to approve the agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda or any suggested changes.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes. Next is our public forum. As a reminder, for those in attendance or online, if you're interested in speaking, come to the dais and state your first name and who you're representing. Is there anyone on Teams?
Mr. Mayor, there is not.
Okay, and no cards. So there are no items for the public forum, so we'll move on to new agenda items. Does anyone on council have any new agenda items to discuss or bring up at a future meeting? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. On our consent agenda this evening is the following. Approval of the City Council workshop and regular meeting minutes of November 18, 2025. Approval of our check register. Approval of municipal licenses. Approval of an engagement letter with Baker Tilly for a classification and comp study. Approval of a professional services agreement with Larson Tree Service doing business as Grizzly Tree Care. Approval of a dedication plaque for a tree to honor Roger Fazendin. Approval of a joint powers agreement with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension for Internet Crimes Against Children, known as the ICAC Task Force. I would need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, or are there any items that need to be pulled for discussion?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, could I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes. Next is a public hearing, and on our public hearing tonight is the consideration of adoption of Resolution 53, 2025, certifying to the county auditor the final property tax for taxes payable 2026, and adoption of Resolution 54, 2025, approving the final budgets. And I believe I need to open the public hearing formally, correct?
Mr. Mayor, you will. We can start with a brief presentation. And
Okay, so we'll do the
open.
presentation, then open the public hearing.
Yep.
Okay, over
Great.
to you or to Mr.?
Well, I will turn it over to Finance Manager Peter Zimmerman.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. Here we are finally, our final approval of the budget. So we've been through a number of steps where we discussed a lot of topics related to budget, CIP, enterprise fund budgets, general fund budgets, excess reserves. So there's kind of our timeline with our two dates outstanding, which is tonight, which is the approval of the final levy and the final budget. And then in 2 weeks, we will review and approve the CIP and the 2026 projects. As you stated, we have two resolutions tonight that you'll consider, 53-25 and 54-25. And tonight, we're just going to review all of the 2026 budgets, the general fund, all of those utility funds, water, sewer, stormwater, and solid waste, and then the liquor fund, marina, motor vehicle, cable TV, and cemetery. And there was extensive materials included with your packet on all of those. We won't be going over those in detail here. For our general fund revenues, you can see all the dollar amounts there. The taxes in general make up about 68.6%. Charges for services, 9.8. Licenses and permits, 7.8. Intergovernmental, 4.6. Transfers in is 5.1% on the revenue, excuse me. And then we have two little funds there at just under 1%, the franchise fees and fines and forfeitures, and then other, which is 2.2. Making up your total revenue for this budget of $9,835,590. And then on the expenditure side, we just have a breakdown of the expenditures by department. You can see there, police is kind of leading the game with a 39% share of that expenditure budget, followed by admin and general government at 22%, public works 11%, parks and recreation 12%, community development 8%, and then fire at 7%, and then the small 1% for capital improvement transfers, with a total expenditure budget of $9,835,590. So everything balances. On the enterprise and special revenue funds, we have them listed here, and I can read through them if you'd like. I don't need to, but the liquor fund is just over $8 million. We have water and sewer, which together are about a little over $3 million. And then our stormwater fund at $398,000, solid waste at $466,000, motor vehicle at about $761,000, cable TV is just under $89,000, the cemetery a meager $11,000 there, and then the marina fund is a budget of $405,000. That's increased from last year because of the capital, basically, is a big part of the budget. So if you notice a change there from year to year, that's the reason. And then all the budgets got all together, we have $23,120,220, broken up there, as you can see, general fund at just under half, and then the liquor fund making up a big bulk of it, and then utilities, and then the other smaller funds kind of trailing behind. This is just a breakdown of the resolution that will be in front of you, or that you'll be voting on a little later. Listing those items again. Again, we have a total budget of $23,120,220. Now we'll take a real quick look at the levy. This is what was presented to council at our September meeting with the preliminary levy that we did certify to the county, which was $7,421,009, which was an increase of 7.5% over the prior year. Oh, where's my? And this is, the 7.5% is what was reflected in the residents' truth and taxation notices that they received. Since then, we've made quite a bit of number of changes, getting us down to a 4.9% increase over last year with a total levy of $7,241,697. You'll see the change was all in that general levy. We didn't change the city infrastructure piece, but getting us to that 4.9%. The main drivers of the levy increase are we added a full-time fire chief, which will begin in Q2 of next year. And then in general, we have a 3% COLA across the board, and then some quite sizable market increases for police officers union. Just a little levy history of the last 5 years here. You can see the levy has been slowly increasing. In 2024, we did have that debt service drop off, but we generally replaced that with a capital levy. And you can see the growth there over those 5 years. And then here's just the levy increase percentage trend. You can see kind of peaks up there in 2024 and then has decreased the last couple years, bringing us to that 4.9 tonight. Our levy comparison, when we compare ourselves to the Lake Minnetonka cities of Excelsior, Minnetonka, Minnetrista, Orono, and Shorewood, and then including Plymouth in that mix, we're typically lower than the average levy increase. As you can see in 2026, the average for their, and this is based on their preliminaries, Obviously, that average was 8.69%, and we're at the 4.9, so considerably lower. Oh, where's my? And then here's just our tax rate comparison, or how that levy impacts that tax rate. Again, this is estimated tax rate, but at 19.6% in 2026, we'll still be lower than most of those cities, which is good. And in terms of the property tax distribution that residents see, the city share is about 19% of what they pay on their annual taxes, but the school at 39%, county at 35%, and then miscellaneous jurisdictions at 7%. So we're a small slice of that dollar bill. So here's the resolution for the levy. As you can see there, we have that the general fund levy of $6,751,697, and then the city infrastructure at $490,000 for a total of $7,241,697. And that is that 4.9% increase again. So, if there are questions.
Questions of staff? I have a couple. If you could go back to that dollar bill split.
Yeah.
Do we have any sense of where the school and the county came down? I know what the preliminaries were. The school was 4% increase, which is a little bit misleading, and I'm gonna have a comment on that in a second. The county came in at just under 8 for their preliminary. Do we have any sense of what their final number is? Their preliminary spend increase was 8 and 4. Do we know what their final is?
I don't. I did not look that up before I came here, and I don't know when. I mean, they have to certify their final the same.
Yeah, no, I
timeframe
just was
that we
curious.
do, but
Sometimes
I don't even know where their meeting was, to be honest with you.
That's fine.
Look.
I just didn't know. So, but for the public, the preliminary for the school district was at 4%. The county was just a shade under 8 for their preliminary. But I want to make a comment about the school district. It's a bit misleading because there's a planned referendum next year of nearly $500 million. And it's off cycle, not being voted on in the normal election period in November. It's being voted in the early part of the year. I just want residents to be aware of it and tune into it, because if that levy is approved, it average implication to Wayzata is $303 for every $650,000 of home value, if approved. And so if folks are interested, they should be contacting the school board and school administration and tune into that referendum to decide where they stand on it. I only mention that because the 4% preliminary looks nice, except when you look at a $500 million referendum. Not judging it one way or the other, I'm just trying to provide information.
Yeah.
That's the only questions I had. Okay, we can move on then. So I think we need to open a public hearing on this matter, and then we've got to take this budget in 2 motions. Go ahead,
Sorry,
Mr.
can I just add one comment?
Please.
From it wasn't in the summary that you just went through, but it was in the budget kind of summary in our packet. And it's important for me just to clarify, like, one of the ways that we cut to get down to the 4.9%. There's a line item it says in the packet that we decrease part-time wages and benefits in the police department by a reduction of 1 community service officer. I just want to make a point of clarification that we are not cutting an existing community service officer. That was a proposed addition of another community service officer, and we got some input that was maybe not necessary and had some management challenges to that. And so I just want to make it a point of public record that we are not cutting an officer. We're just not increasing that.
That's a fair point. So
Yeah.
we'll maintain our 3 community service officers and not add a 4th. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
Other comments or questions of staff? Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing on this matter for either public comments or remote comments. I'll open the meeting. Do we have anyone that's filled out a card or online that would like to comment at the public hearing?
Mr. Mayor, we do not.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing and I'll bring it back. We need to take this in 2 parts. First is to certify the levy, and then the second is the budget. So basically, I need to get a motion to adopt the Resolution 53, 2025, certifying to the county auditor the final property tax levy for taxes payable in 2026. I need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Could I have a second?
A second.
Okay, second, and any further discussion?
I'd just like to make a comment, if I may.
Yes, sir.
You know, we're about to approve a 4.9% increase, but I'd like the viewing audience to realize what went into that is we still invested very well into public safety and police and fire and our city staff, and we didn't shortcut that at all. And yet we still came in at 4.9%, which I believe initially started at, what, 14.5% or something like that?
Yep.
So we were able to get that down to 4.9% and still not sacrificing public safety. Just want to put that on record.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Plekish. I just have an additional comment. I'm going to vote no on this tonight, and I wanted to state my reasons. I very much appreciate all the work that went in going back to June or July to take us from 14.5 down to 4.9. But there's some unique circumstances going on for forces outside of our control right now at the county and state level, pushing a significant burden to our property tax. And it's the spending, but it's also the redistribution of value. Wayzata received on average, 22.1% increase of value, which was the highest in the entire county system. Meanwhile, on the eastern side of the county, we saw a commercial collapse of the commercial core of downtown and some devaluation. And if you understand the property tax system, it's about absolute dollars, but it's also about pro rata distribution. And it's a double-edged sword for our residents and our commercial property owners. While their value is going up on exit, that's nice. But in the short term, it's placing burden on residents and commercial to the tune of just crazy numbers. Like you're seeing changes of 30% and 25% in 1 year. And that's a significant burden. Most people didn't get a raise in their paycheck of 22%, or maybe some did, I didn't. But yet your tax bill for property tax can go up 10%, 15, 30%. I've seen 48% from a resident. And for those reasons, I feel that in these circumstances, we needed to work harder to control what we can control. And I would have preferred to see a number in the threes versus 4.9. I do agree with Councilmember Plekish. We did accomplish a lot. We did a lot of trade-offs, but I just personally, my own view only, wanted to see it go deeper for those reasons. And I'm concerned about that levy coming up with the potential referendum. $303 more for pay 27 on a basis of $650,000 of value. We get held accountable for the full dollar amount, even though we're only 19% of it. And so I just want to tell our residents, we all see it. We understand there's some pain going on. I think we did a good job of getting to a number that's reasonable. It just wasn't as far as I'd like to go. So with those comments, I've got a motion, a second, a further conversation. I'll take a vote on motion one. So I need, I guess we'll just say, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And one no. Next motion is we need to have a motion to adopt the final budget for 2026. So the first was the actual levy, the second is the full budget. So I need a motion to adopt Resolution 54, 2025, approving the final 2026 budget.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Oh, sorry,
Aye.
further conversation, further discussions. I apologize. Any further discussion by anyone? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that passes 5-0. Thank you for that. Mr. Sorensen.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I just, on the budget process, I think, if you remember early in the year, we said we need to use this year to really make a deep dive in our budget. And I think overall, we did a really nice job with that. I compliment staff. We had, I don't know how many meetings, but it was a constant topic throughout the year. So I think we did take a hard look. We asked a lot of hard questions. And it's a very collaborative process, and I think productive. And I think we ended up at a nice spot, much lower than when we started. We all wish it were a little bit lower. But I think our overall strategy and a little conservatism has has played well with this city, and I think we are continuing that, although we're being a little more aggressive with it. So overall, I think, my comments are generally complimentary to this team and to staff about the process we went through this year.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sorensen. I completely agree. Next is new business. On our new business agenda is we have consider adoption of Resolution 45, 2025, approving support of a grant application for Hennepin County Environmental Response for the property at 200 Lake Street East. Turn it over to our interim city manager.
Mayor and council, I'm going to turn this over to Community Development Director Alex Sharp.
Thank you, City Manager. I'm going to be doing this one without a presentation this evening, as it's a relatively light item. Essentially, what the council is asked to do is certify the approval and a resolution of support for a grant application to the Hennepin County Environmental Response Fund for 200 Lake here within the community. They've got some existing contamination within the site due to some of its past uses, namely petroleum, but there was also lumber mill yards and a number of things. You can see the full RAP approval form that's in, and if anybody is interested, we do have the full environmental assessment available for anybody to review. But at this time, Lake West has requested that the city support their application for $1.7 million in remediation to that site. Largely what that would be was removal of existing soils and then putting a top fill of clean soils over the top to provide a vapor barrier to the residences above. The other thing that I want to mention with this is that this would be the largest grant that Hennepin County would award. Typically, they're in the $600,000 to $700,000 range for their large end. So we do anticipate a future grant where the city would support or potentially be the applicant to deed the Department of Employment and Economic Development come springtime, as we suspect that that will need to supplement this grant. With that, if there are any questions or concerns, welcome to answer them.
Questions of staff at this point? Mr. Plekish.
Yeah, in our packet on page 193, there was a statement here, and this is from the actual application, and the person that, from the entity that's applying for it. It says at the bottom of the page here, the city of Wayzata has confirmed that they will sign a resolution of support for this ERE application. And it references an attachment 3 to verify that, which wasn't in our packet. And I'm wondering how a claim can be made that the city would sign something when we're debating it tonight.
Perfectly understandable. I think that this comes from the nature of the private applicant filling out this application. It is theirs. Staff has said that we would bring this forward. We couldn't state how the city council would vote on it. However, it is a best practice for a city to assist private developments with this if staff and the council are willing. So this is, I think, a symptom of why the city would want to take the lead on that future application, because we'd be a little bit more precise in our wording for future applications.
Nonetheless, a claim was made that we would sign it, and we don't know that we will yet. And I didn't see the attachment. Was that something we had and didn't put in the packet, or just we didn't get it?
Attachment 3 will be this resolution if it is signed.
Okay.
So that's why it wasn't attached or within the packet, is we don't have it signed yet. It's referring to a future attachment that hasn't yet been approved.
Okay. One other question. This property changed hands in 1990, did it not? And it went from what it was before to a commercial property, the TCF building. And I'm wondering, why is this environmental issue a concern now? Should this not have been taken care of back then?
So, Mayor, Councilmember, there's two factors for that. The first being that they did some remediation underneath the existing building that's present. The majority of the additional contamination is underneath the parking lots that were sealed with asphalt. Additionally, when you're putting housing over the top of contaminated sites, you have a greater responsibility for remediation than what you do for an office or business environment. So the combination of the two is requiring significantly more remediation than what would have been required when this was originally brought forward.
So if in 1990, the concept plan that we're looking at now was going to be done back then they would have to do more remediation that they're doing now?
That is correct.
Okay.
I don't know that they would need to do the same level. The rules have become more stringent, particularly with housing, but they would need to do more remediation than what they had done in 1990.
All right, thank you.
Other questions of staff? I just have one. So if the application is by a private group, but it's to the state, correct? So they're making a grant application to the state, or who is the body that would review and approve the grant and/or provide the funding?
Mayor, apologies for the confusion. I may have slightly caused that. This grant is specifically to Hennepin County and the Hennepin County Environmental Response Fund.
Got it.
There will be a future
Got it.
grant to the state
That's what you were referencing.
that the city would likely be the applicant on, or is required to be the applicant on, would
Got it.
support at a future date, likely to supplement this grant.
I just wanted to
Why
make
was
it
trying
clear,
to
it's
keep-
not city funds being used for the cleanup. That's all I really wanted to clarify, so. Okay, Mr. Cook.
Yeah, the application is up to $1,772,000, but the county has the right to reduce that, or is it all or none? And they pick a big number and hope that they get it?
Mayor, council member, that is correct. My understanding is that the county will determine how much they decide to award based upon current applications, this application and how it scores, and a number of other factors. One of the large ones that they utilize for determining with this grant is the potential property tax increase from the existing. And so they're utilizing the offset of this grant by essentially creating a site that is worth more tomorrow than what it would be today with this remediation, that'll be recaptured over time through taxes and be able to go back into a fund like this for future projects.
Okay, thanks.
Any further questions of staff? Okay, so any other comments about this before we accept a motion on it? All right, I would accept a motion adopting Resolution 45, 2025, approving the support of a grant application for Hennepin County Environmental Response for 200 Lake Street East. Who would like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Cook, and a second, please.
Second?
Second by Mr. Sorensen. Any further conversation about this or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. That passes.
Say nay.
Okay, so it goes 4-1 with one nay. Next is a block of things that I'm going to actually rely on interim city manager Yeager. We're going to go through boards and commissions. So earlier this evening, we interviewed several applicants for open boards, and we also affirmed several folks that are reapplying. So you're going to take us through it, and then we're going to go through these by each board and commission and do a separate motion for each affirming. So council, or over to you, city manager Yeager.
You got it. Mr. Mayor, I'm going to kind of highlight the process and then we'll move through new business items B through G as I kind of talk you through what we're going to fill in the blanks for those resolutions. So as you mentioned, we advertised for vacancies earlier this fall on our various boards and commissions. We held interviews earlier this evening. Based on how those interviews went and the discussion with the council at the workshop, I've got some recommendations on folks that we can appoint to these commissions, but those are just recommendations. So as we go through this, if you would like to make changes to those, please speak up. So let's start with new business item B, which is to consider adoption of Resolution 47, 2025, appointing planning commissioners. So my recommendation would be that the council appoints Adam Elg and Bonnie Schwalbe, both to serve a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2028.
Okay, so you want us to take us each time. So I would accept a motion to adopt Resolution 47, 2025, appointing planning commissioners noted by City Manager Yeager. Could I accept that motion, please?
So moved.
Okay, get a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next.
Okay, the next item is to consider Resolution 48-2025, appointing Heritage Preservation Board members. We had 3 two-year terms available and 1 one-year term available. Staff's recommendation is to appoint Kim Garrity, Sonia Travanti, and Stacy Dahl to serve 2-year terms that expire December 31st, 2027.
Okay, I would accept a motion adopting Resolution 48, 2025, appointing Heritage Preservation Board members as noted by City Manager Yeager. Could I get that motion, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Could I get a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes.
Okay, the next item to consider is Resolution 49-2025 for appointing members to the Public Art Steering Committee. This is technically a new committee we've had a steering committee. This is the Public Art Committee. This has 5 to 7 positions available. There's going to be a mix this first time we're making appointments of 2-year and 3-year terms, just so there's a split of terms on that committee. And then after that, it'll always be 3-year terms. So just kind of clarifying the difference there. So staff's recommendation is to appoint Molly McDonald, Joni Cunningham, and Bruce Goodman to serve 2-year terms that expire December 31st, 2027. And then to appoint Alex Plekish, Judd Nelson, and Roger Miller to serve 3-year terms that expire December 31st, 2028.
Did we have one missing, Bruce?
Did you say Bruce?
Yeah, sorry, I listed Bruce Goodman as someone who would be appointed to a 2-year term,
thank you.
expiring in
That's
2027.
why I just didn't pick up on it. That's fine. So I need a motion to adopt Resolution 49, 2025, appointing the individuals to the staggered terms that were outlined by City Manager Yeager.
I have a question before we do that.
Certainly.
Considering that 2 of the council members are in that motion, do we need to withdraw from the vote? Asking the city attorney.
Yeah,
Mr. Mayor and Councilmember, I think you can make that vote, yes.
So vote for.
It's within your prerogative as a city council member to appoint yourselves to things, yes. I don't think that's a conflict. You know, I do, Mr. Mayor, I just do one point of clarification, maybe I just missed it. Is this the Public Art Committee or the Public Art Steering Committee that we're appointing to?
It's the committee. There was a.
Okay, so the word steering just should be
Yeah, no,
excised from that.
yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
got it.
I agree. So
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Let me restate that again. Thank you for the question, Mr. Plekish. I need a motion to adopt Resolution 49, 2025 to the Public Art Committee with the laddered positions as noted by City Manager Yeager. Could I receive that motion, please?
So moved.
Okay, a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next.
very good. The next item is Resolution 50-2025, appointing Parks and Trails Board members. We had 2 positions available for 3-year terms. Staff's recommendation is to appoint Jonathan Pine and Alexa Mylanen to serve 3-year terms that expire December 31st, 2028.
Any questions of staff on that one? Okay, I would accept a motion to approve Resolution 50, 2025, appointing 2 new Park and Trails Board member as stated by Interim City Manager Yeager. Could I get that motion, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes. Next.
Okay, the next is Resolution 51-2025. This is a resolution that suggests a Charter Commission appointment. That designation is actually determined by the 4th Judicial Court, so that's one that's different with this committee. We just recommend to the 4th Court and then they typically appoint, but just want to note that difference there, that they're actually making the appointment. Staff's recommendation is to appoint Elaine Ambrose and Bruce Goodman to serve 4-year terms that expire December 31st, 2029.
Any questions of staff on that one? So I would accept a motion for the adoption of Resolution 51-2025, appointing Charter Commission member recommendations as noted by Interim City Manager Yeager. Can I get that motion, please?
So moved.
A second, please.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. That passes. Next.
Okay, the next is Resolution 52-2025, appointing Energy and Environment Committee members. Staff's recommendation is to appoint David Ferry and Megan Yarrow to serve 3-year terms that expire December 31st, 2028.
Any questions of staff on that? Okay, hearing none, I would accept a motion to adopt resolution. I think there's a typo in here because we're going,
52-2025.
well, but I said 52. Oh, that is right. So 52-2025. I would accept a motion to adopt that resolution, please.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and next. Or is that it?
That's it. That was our slew of appointments. I would just note, there are a couple of commissions that we still have vacancies on. We have a couple of other options open. So we're going to, Energy and Environment has a couple of openings. The Charter Commission has more that could be appointed there. The Heritage Preservation Board, and we did not make an appointment tonight for the opening on our Housing and Redevelopment Authority. So we're going to talk to those commissions, hope that they can recruit some other folks in the communities to get them fully filled. And those, if we do get people interested, those will come back for future
We
consideration.
kind of handle that on an ad hoc basis.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
Can I just make a comment? I just want to express my appreciation for all the people who have stepped up. This city does not run without the many volunteers who step up and serve on the various boards and commissions. And so it's always great to see people who do that, people who kind of live out their interests and make this city run. So
do it
we
for the
couldn't
big
do
pay.
it without that. Yeah, the big paycheck is obviously an attractive feature, but no, I just appreciate the people who step up, and yeah, we couldn't do it without everybody.
If I may add on to Dan's comment, which is, I'm so heartened by how many returning reappointments there are too, and I think that says a lot of staff and the community members who are already joining in, so.
Yes, thank you. Any comments from anyone else? Yeah, we have nearly 50 serving on various boards and commissions, so that's quite a statement about our civic engagement here, so thank you for that. Okay, next is our city manager's report.
Okay, Mr. Mayor and Council, my update are all about Clapbridge Park. So we've started to get some questions about rink flooding, when is the warming house going to be open, things like that. So Public Works will begin flooding the rink this week. We have good weather for that. The warming house is going to be substantially complete December 15th. We don't really have access to the equipment that we need to properly maintain the rink at like what's optimal skating condition until the warming house reopens. So potentially people could skate before then, but really we think the warming house, the bathrooms, and the parking lot will start to be open on December 15th. So that's kind of what people can be planning for.
So just want a
Yeah.
clarification on that. I mean, we've been discouraging use of the park, but if it does get flooded, we're not going to chase people away if they
Correct.
want to go out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
But it won't be in like prime skating
Yeah, no,
condition.
fair enough.
We're going to work on that.
Basically, December 15th, we're going to start the process now for those brave souls that want to get out there, the shinny hockey players and the people that want to skate.
Yep.
You're welcome, but we're not going to be fully operational until the 15th.
Right. And then I would also note that to mark the completion of Clapbridge Park, I want people to kind of put on their radar that the Parks and Trails Board is working to plan a celebratory ribbon cutting event Saturday, January 10th from 1 to 3 at Clapbridge Park. There's going to be skating and hot chocolate and things like that. So we really want to see people out there enjoying the new park. And I mean, winter time at skating at Clapbridge Park is just magical enough as it is. So don't miss out on that January 10th. And that's what I've got for you.
All right. Questions of the city manager? Go ahead, Mr. Sorensen.
Yeah, the playground area is fenced off now, so maybe just help us with the status of that part of the park.
Yeah, that's a great question. I didn't inquire about the latest, but it should also, I think, be mostly opened again by December 10th. Director Sharp, do you know any differently?
No, the entire park project is set to be completed by the December 15th timeframe.
Thank you.
Any other questions of city manager at this juncture? Go ahead, Ms. McDonald.
Did you say the time on the 10th was from 1 to 3?
1 to 3 p.m.
Thanks.
Okay. Do we have anyone on Teams for public forum?
Mr. Mayor, we do not.
Okay. I would accept a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting, please.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Not everybody at once.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
We didn't
Yeah, last month.
gavel this out already.
Month's been pretty good.